This is one of the past questions of the recent set, okay? Now, put down this question. A research farm was surveyed and described as follows. At point A to B, the length was 440 km. At point B to C, it measures 250 km. And from C to D, which was parallel to point A to B, the length was 420 km. And from A to D, the length was 202 km. Line AB was extended to M, measuring 200 km from point B and joining point C in the quadrant form. Now, the first question is, interpret and present the above as a map. The second question, calculate the perimeter and the area of the farmland. The third question is, if the entire plot is used for the cultivation of maize, what is the plant population if the spacing is 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter at the sowing rate of 2 seed per hole? The fourth question, if 3/5 of the total farm area is used for cassava production, what is the area left uncultivated? And the fifth question, which is the last question, if 5% of the uncultivated land is used for the building of farmstead, what is the proportion of uncultivated land available for production? Okay, let's start from the first question. The first question states, interpret the above as a map. Now, you will agree with me that to interpret means to draw the structures of the farm, you understand? So now, let's start by listing out the parameters that we are given in the question. We are given that the length from point A to B is what? 440 km. So let me call this point A. Please, I want to pay attention here. I'm trying to solve the first question there, which is what? Interpret and present the above as a map. Let's call this point A. Okay, let's call this point A. So from point A, at point A to B, the length was what? 440 km. So let me shift it here. Point A, from this point to this point, the length was 440 km. Please, it is very important that you pay attention here, because if you didn't get the diagram right, your solvings will be wrong, okay? So I want you to pay attention, okay? Okay, let's proceed. So from this point to this point is what? 440 km. Now, the question progresses and said, at point B to C, it measures 250 km. At point B to C. So point C will be somewhere here, which is what? 250 km. You understand? So point C is 250 km. Let me put it here. 250 km. Okay? Now, and from C to D, which was parallel to point A to B, the length is what? 420 km. Now, 420 km is less than 440 km. So the length will not be much as this, okay? So the length will be something like this. You get it? So this is 420 km. Do you understand? So let's proceed. And from A to D, let me call this point D. A to D, the length was 202 km. So the length here is 202 km. 202, let me put it, 202 km. Do you understand? So line AB was extended to M. That is, we are now, if I may ask you, where is line AB? Yeah, this is line AB, Abi. Line AB was extended to M. So the line was extended to M. Let me extend this line to M. You can see I've already extended to M. Line AB was extended to M, measuring a distance of 200 km from point B. That is, from this point to point M, the distance is what? 200 km. 200 km, okay? Please, I want to follow this carefully, okay? Don't get confused. And joining a point C in quadrant form. Therefore, they said this line, this line and this line, they join in the quadrant form. Let me just sketch it in quadrant form. So this is the diagram this is the interpretation of what we have in there. Do you understand? That is the interpretation. If you didn't understand, pause this video and go back and watch it again. It is very, very important that you understand, that you know how to draw the diagram before you can solve the question. Okay, so let's proceed. We have already gotten the first mark, which is what? Question number 1. The question is interpret and present the above as a map. This is the map of the farmland. You understand? Now, if I ask you which shape is this shape, what is the name of this shape? The shape is what? Trapezium. Yeah, this shape is trapezium. Now, let's go to the second question. Calculate the perimeter and the area of the farmland. Now, we want to find the perimeter. Don't forget that the perimeter of a shape tells us the total length around the shape. Is that not it? So, in order to calculate the perimeter, I have to sum up every length around this shape. That is 20 km, line AD plus line DC plus line CM plus line MB plus line BA. You understand? So, but I cannot get the perimeters without calculating this line. You understand? I cannot get the perimeter of this shape without calculating this line. So, I need to get the value of line CM. Do you understand? So, let's start from here. To calculate the perimeters, I need the value of line CM. Let me call it line CM, okay? Now, let me bring out this shape. Look at this shape. C and B. I have M, Abi. Then I have this sketch, Abi. So, I'm looking for this line. I've been given that this is 250 km, Abi. And this is what? 200 kilometer. So I need the value of this line, which is line CM. Now, to get the value of line CM, what are we going to do? Yeah, we are going to make use of Pythagoras theorem. You understand? We are going to make use of Pythagoras theorem. And according to Pythagoras theorem, the longest side of the square of the longest side of this right angle triangle, because this is a right angle triangle, if you look at it very well, the square of the longest side of this right angle triangle is the sum of the square of the other two sides. That is, hypotenuse squared is equals to opposite squared plus what? Adjacent squared. Do you understand? The hypotenuse is what? Line CM, which is the longest side of this right angle triangle. So, line CM is equals to opposite square. Opposite is the angle, the side that faces the angle which the hypotenuse lies with. So, the opposite is what? 250 kilometers. So I'm going to have 250 squared plus the adjacent squared. That is 200 squared. Do you understand? So line CM is what? 250. The square of 250 is 62,500 plus, if you square 200, that is 40,000. 40,000, yeah. Okay, so line CM, line CM square is not line CM, line CM square, because hypotenuse square is what? Line CM. Hypotenuse is line CM. So hypotenuse square is what we are dealing with. That is what? The line CM squared. You understand? So line CM squared is equals to 62,500 plus 40,500. That is 102,500. 102,500. Okay. So in order to get line CM, I'm going to square both sides. Take the square root of both sides, Abi. That is the square root of 102,500. Do you understand? Hypotenuse is line CM. So hypotenuse square is what we are dealing with. That is what? The line CM squared. You understand? So line CM squared is equals to 62,500 plus 40,500. That is 102,500. 102,500. Okay. So in order to get line CM, I'm going to square both sides. Take the square root of both sides, Abi. That is the square root of 102,500. Do you understand? So line CM line CM is equals to, if you take the square root of 102,500, that is 320 kilometer. Do you understand? 320 kilometer. And you can represent line CM as x. Just say that x squared is equals to 250 squared plus 200 squared. Then you get your answer and say that, so therefore line CM is equals to what? 320 kilometers. So the value of this line, the distance between this point to this point is what? 320 kilometers. So now, having gotten the distance at 320 kilometers, we can proceed to find the perimeter of this farm. Perimeter of the shape. The perimeter talks about the sum of the length across the shape that we have. So now let's find the perimeter. The perimeter is equals to, let's start with line AB. Line AB is what? Line AB, let me just put it. Line AB plus line BM plus line CM plus line D and CD plus line AD. Do you understand? Line AB plus line BM plus line CM plus line CD plus line AD. That is the perimeter. So the perimeter is equals to, line AB is what? Line AB is 440 kilometers. So 440 kilometers plus line BM. Line BM is 200 kilometers plus line CM. Line CM is 320 kilometers plus line CD. Line CD is what? 420 kilometers plus line DA. Line DA is what? Line AD. Anyhow you call it, okay? Just make sure that you know the side that you are summing up, okay? So line AD is what? 202 kilometers. 202 kilometers. So the sum of the perimeter is what? If you add all this together, we are going to get 100 kilometers. So that is the answer that we're going to get if you sum all the sides of this trapezium shape together. You understand? So that is the perimeter of the shape. Now let us proceed to calculate the area. The area of the farm is the area of the shape that we have there. And I asked you the other time that what is the name of this shape? The name of the shape is what? Trapezium. And the areas of trapezium, you can just put like this: area of farmland, area of farm is equals to area of trapezium. You understand? Trapezium. And areas of trapezium, area of trapezium is equals to 1/2 A plus B multiplied by height. Do you understand? Or you can write that this is also the same thing as this, okay? A plus B multiplied by height all over 2. This formula is the same, okay? So don't be confused, okay? Now let's proceed. A and B is the sides of the trapezium that are parallel to each other. You understand? You can see that this side AM is parallel to what? DC, because they can never meet. That is the value of A and B, and H is the height of the trapezium. That is the distance between this parallel side. You understand? So let us proceed. A is what? A is the total length. The total length from here to here. That is A. You understand? And the total length from this side, from this point to this point, is what? 440 kilometers plus 200 kilometers. So A is 440 kilometers plus 200 kilometers. So side A is what? 640 kilometers. You understand? So now B is line DC. B is line DC. This line, the line is what? 420 kilometers. So B is 420 kilometers. Do you understand? Please don't get confused, okay? I told you that A and B are the parallel side of the trapezium. parallel sides of the trapezium. You understand? And h is the height. That is the distance between the parallel side of this trapezium. The parallel side, the first parallel side is this, which is what? Line AM. And now to get line AM, I have to add what? Line AB and line BM. You understand? That is the total length of line AM. That is how I got 640 kilometers. Do you understand? So don't get confused at all. And line DC is what? Another line DC is B, which is also the second part of the parallel side of this trapezium. So line BC is what? 420 kilometers. And the distance between line BC and line AM is what? The height. That is what? 250 kilometers. So h is equals to 250 kilometers, which is the height. Now we have gotten all the parameters that we needed in this formula, so we can proceed to use the formula. So the areas of the trapezium, area is equals to half A plus B. What is A? 640 kilometers plus B. B is 420 kilometers. Let me erase this. Multiply by height. H is what? 250 kilometers. All over 2. The area is equals to 640 kilometers plus 420 kilometers. That is 1060 kilometers. Okay? Multiply by 250 kilometers all over 2. Do you understand? So the area is what? Area is equals to, if you multiply 1060 kilometers plus 1060 kilometers multiplied by 240 kilometers, that will give us 215,000 kilometers squared. 215,000 kilometers squared. Now divide this by 2. That will give us the area. The area now is what? If you divide 215,000 kilometers squared divided by 2, that is 132,500 kilometers squared. So 132,000. 1,500 kilometers squared. So the area of the farmland is what? 132,500 kilometers squared. Please, do you understand how I got it? So we have gotten the area of the farm in kilometers squared, but in order to calculate the plant population, we need the area of the farm in meters squared. You understand? So I'm going to convert this area to meters squared. Do you understand? Have you seen the reason why I want to convert it? Because I need the area in meters squared. I need the plant population of the farm is calculated in meters squared. So I need this area to be in meters squared. So I'm going to convert this area to meters squared. Don't forget that 1,000 meters is equals to what? 1 kilometer. So in order to get the square of this, I'm going to square 1,000 meters. So 1,000 meters squared is equals to what? 1 kilometer squared. So if you square 1,000, you are going to get 1 million. The meaning of this is that 1 million meters squared is equals to what? 1 kilometer squared. If I'm solving this in the exam, I won't show this. The reason why I show it is because I want you to understand how we come about this 1 million. That is 1 million meters squared is equals to what? 1 kilometer squared. Now let us proceed. Since I know that 1 million meters squared is equals to 1 kilometer, now I will represent the amount, the length of 132,500 kilometers squared. Let me represent it as x in meters squared. So x meters squared is equals to 132,500 kilometers squared. In this case, I'm going to what? Cross multiply. So I'm going to have x multiplied by 1 kilometer is equals to 132,500 kilometers squared multiplied by 1 million. 1 million meters squared. Do you understand? So now let us proceed. In that case, kilometer squared will cancel kilometer squared. So I'm going to be left with what? Meter squared. So x is equals to 1,000 132,500 multiplied by 1 million. If you punch your calculator, you are going to get, let's see, my calculator brings this 1.325 times 10 raised to the power of 11 meters squared. It brought it in standard form, but this can be expressed as this: x is equals to 132,500,000,000. That is 132 billion 500 million meters squared. Let me put meter squared. Do you understand? It can be expressed as this. By the time I convert this to standard form, I'm going to get this. Do you understand? So now let us proceed. We have gotten the area, the area of the farm in meters squared. So let me put it. The area is equals to 1.325 times 10 raised to the power of 11 meters squared. You understand? So I've gotten the area in meters squared. Now we can proceed to calculate the plant population. But before we calculate the plant population, don't forget that the spacing is also given in centimeter. So I will have to convert the spacing, the centimeter to what? To meter. So plant population, this is I. Plant population is equals to area all over spacing. But the spacing, don't forget that the spacing is what? 60 centimeter by 60 centimeter. So I have to convert this spacing to what? To meter by dividing by 100. So I'm going to divide the spacing by 100, divide it by 100. You understand? So I'm going to have the spacing in meter. The spacing in meter is what? 0.6 meter multiplied by 0.6 meter. That will be what? 0.36 meter squared. Do you understand? So I have gotten the area and the spacing in meter squared. So I can proceed to use the formula. The area of the farmland is what? Area is equals to the this should be plant population. The plant population, let me represent it as what? PP. Don't put this in exam. Write it in full. You understand? Don't write it in the exam. PP. Don't write PP, okay? Write it in full. Plant population is equals to area. Area is 1,000. Okay, I have the area here. That's 132,500 meter squared all over the spacing. The spacing is what? That's what I just converted. That is 0.6 meter squared. So I'm gonna have 0. Okay, let me clean this. Let me erase this. Okay. Okay, so that is 0.36 meter squared. So the plant population is equals to, if you divide this by this, you're going to get 368. The plant population is much of 368,055. Let me change the marker so that you can see very well. Okay, 368,055 555 555. The unit is tons. Okay, the unit is tons. So this is the plant population. Okay, but that is not the total plant population for this farmland. Don't forget that the question says that the sowing rate is what? 2 seeds per hole. You understand? So we have to multiply this plant population by 2. Do you understand? If the question says 3 seeds per hole, we are going to multiply this plant population by 3. Do you understand? That will be the total plant population for that farmland. But because this population that you see is for just a single seed, if the sowing rate is 1, this is it. But if it is 2, it is twice of this plant population. So I'm going to multiply this by 2. So the total plant population, total plant population. That is 368, 368, 055, 555, 555 stands multiplied by 2 because the sowing rate is 2. Now, if you point your calculator, you're going to get that is 736, 736, 111, 111, then 110 stands. So the plant population, the total plant population for the farmland is what? 736 billion 111 million 111,110 stands. Do you understand? So that is how to get the plant population. Trust you understand. If you didn't understand, back the video and watch the explanation again. The first step is that you have to first determine the plant population of a single sowing rate. And they told us in the question that the sowing rate is what? 2 seeds per hole. So I'm going to multiply the total plant population that I got here by 2. That is how I got this place. Let's proceed to the fourth question. If 3/5 of the total farm area is used for cassava production, what is the area left uncultivated? Okay. If 3/5, that is the first question, okay? 3/5 for cassava production, let me represent like that. Now, in order to get the area that is left uncultivated, we have to first get the area that is used for cassava production. The question states thus: 3/5 of the total area was used for cassava production. So, in order to get the area that was used for cassava production, I have to calculate the 3/5 of the total area. So, area, that's the first thing I'm going to get. Area used for cassava production. That's what I want to calculate now, okay? So that will be what? 3/5 multiplied by the total area. The total area is what? 132 billion 500 million meters squared. Don't forget the unit. So if you punch this, 3 multiplied by 132 billion 500 million meters squared, that is 397 billion 500 million meters squared all over 5. So if you punch your calculator, divide this by 5, you are going to get 79 billion 500 million meters squared. So the area that was used for cassava production is 79 billion 500 million meters squared. Now, to get the area that is left uncultivated, that is the area that the farmer does not cultivate at all. Do you understand? To get the area, we are going to subtract this from the total area. So, the area that was left uncultivated, area uncultivated will be equals to the total area. That is what? 132 billion 500 million meters squared minus the area that was used for cassava production, that is 79 billion 500 million meters squared. So the area that was not cultivated is equals to, if you subtract this from this, you are going to get 53 billion meters squared. Do you understand? We're going to get 53 billion meters squared. That is the area of the farmland that is not cultivated. Do you understand? Okay, let us proceed to the fifth question. The fifth question states thus: if 5% of the uncultivated land is used for the building of farmstead, what is the proportion of uncultivated land available for production? Now, the meaning of that question is that Peradventure, this is the area that is not cultivated, abi? Now the question now says, let's assume that out of this area we use 5%, the farmer used 5% to build a farmstead. Of course, farmstead is like those building that is found on the farm, maybe historic building or a building where the laborers can just refresh themselves after working. You understand what I'm saying? That is a typical example of farm building. Now, that is the typical example of farmstead. So out of this area that is left uncultivated, if 5% is used to build farmstead, what is the proportion of the area that is left for production? You understand? The meaning is that if we use 5% of this area to build farmstead, if you want to embark on, maybe you want to cultivate another type of crop, what is the area that is left for us to use? You know what I'm saying? What is the area that we are going to use to cultivate the seed? So this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to take the 5% of 53 billion. I get what I'm saying? To know the amount, to know the area that was used to construct farmstead, I'm going to take the 5% of 53 billion. So 5% of 5% is what? 5 over 100. So 5 over 100 multiplied by 53 billion. 53 billion meters squared. Don't forget the unit. So that will be what? 0.05 multiplied by 53 billion meters squared. This what I calculate here is the area that was used to construct farmstead. Okay, I've not calculated the area that will be left to cultivate. I get what I'm saying. This area is the area that was used to build farmstead, because the question says 5% of the uncultivated area was used to build farmstead, and this is the uncultivated area after we have used the area to plant cassava. Are you getting it? So this is the area that is left uncultivated. Now the question now says, after we have this area, then we out of this area we make use of the 5% of this to build farmstead. So 5% of this we give the area that was used to build farmstead. So 5% of 53 billion, if you punch your calculator, you're going to get 2 billion. That is 2 billion 650 million 650 million meters squared. So this is the area that was used to cultivate. This is the area that was used to build farmstead. Now, to know the area that we are going to use to cultivate, we are going to subtract this area from the area that we have not used to cultivate. Are you getting it? So the area, don't forget, this area that I calculated is the area used to construct farmstead. Do you understand? So the area that I want to calculate now is the area that we are left with. If we want to cultivate another crop, what is the area that we are left with for us to cultivate? So that's what I want to calculate. That then I'm going to have 53 billion meters squared. Don't forget the unit, meter squared, minus the area that we use to build farmstead. So that will be what? 2,650 meters squared. Do you understand? So if you punch your calculator, the area that is left for us to cultivate is 50 billion 350 million meters squared. Don't forget the unit. Okay, so the area that is left for us to cultivate after we have used part of the area, after we have used 5% of the area to build farmstead, is 50 billion 350 million meters squared. Do you understand? So we have come to the end of this question. This is the answer for question number 1. The diagram is the answer. This is the answer for question number 2. This is the answer for question number 2B. This is the answer for question number 3. This is the answer for question number 4. And this is the answer for question number 5. Do you understand? So see you in the next class.